The movies start with Anna. She's a hostess in the neon-soaked underworld of Gangnam, a place where the rich don't just play, they pray. While serving a group of high rollers, Anna's forced to take a candy that's actually a cocktail of high-grade narcotics. Within seconds, her world is melting. She stumbles into a bathroom stall, her body screaming in a fever she can't escape, desperately trying to purge the poison before her mind slips away entirely. She slaps herself hard over and over, trying to find the woman she was before she walked into that room. But when she calls her best friend for help, the response is chilling. Her friend doesn't ask if she's breathing, she asks about the money. In that moment, Anna realizes she isn't just alone, she's a target. She manages to slip out a back door, a shadow in a city that wants to swallow her whole, and reaches out to the only man who might actually give a damn, Mike. Now, Mike isn't your typical boss. He runs a hostess service, sure, but he operates on a code of honor that's extinct in Gangnam. To Mike, these women aren't products. They're his responsibility. He's the kind of guy who doesn't just call a lawyer when his staff is harassed. He calls a hit. And there is one line you never ever cross with Mike. You do not drug his people. If you do, Mike doesn't just find you. He ensures you leave the conversation with fewer working limbs than you started with. But as Mike starts digging into Anna's story, the air gets heavy. He learns another one of his girls has gone missing after a shift with these same elites. He tracks down the client, a spoiled heir who thinks his family's bank account makes him immortal. Mike doesn't talk much. He lets his fists do the negotiating until he gets an address, the Grand Business Hotel. When Mike kicks in the door, the party is over, but the horror is just beginning. The room is a graveyard of syringes and shattered lives. And then he sees it. In a massive fish tank, floating like a discarded toy, is the body of his missing employee. The walls are stained with bloody handprints, silent screams of a woman who fought until her last breath. Mike doesn't just get angry. He gets cold. He swears right then and there that these monsters are going to pay in a currency they understand: blood. But here's the problem. The monsters in question aren't just random thugs. They're the untouchables. We're talking about government officials and second-generation tycoons who treat human beings like disposable lighters. At the center of this rot is Bob, a massive Korean celebrity who uses his fame as a shield for his side hustle and human trafficking and drug testing. When Bob's cleaners realize the body is missing from the hotel, Bob doesn't even blink. He just orders more men to find it. He's so arrogant, he thinks Mike is just a fly to be swatted. He sends a dozen goons to surround Mike, thinking numbers win fights. Big mistake. One of them makes the mistake of opening his mouth, and Mike snaps. In a blur of silver and rage, Mike pulls a dagger. He isn't looking to kill, not yet. He's looking to dismantle. Within minutes, the alley is carpeted with Bob's men. But even a beast like Mike has limits. Exhausted and bleeding, with backup swarming the area, he's forced to dive into the freezing river to survive. While Mike is fighting for his life, Anna is watching the news. A body was found in Gangnam. It's her best friend. The realization hits her like a freight train. The law won't help her, and she fears even Mike might not be enough to stop a god like Bob. She decides that if she's going to die, she's taking the devil with her. She smashes a window, slips into the night, and vanishes. Mike returns to find her gone, and the guilt starts to eat him alive. See, Mike always had a soft spot for Anna. He loved her never give up attitude, the way she dreamed of making enough money to just go somewhere beautiful. He was always too shy to tell her, but now his silence feels like a death sentence. The stage is set at an underground boxing match hosted by Bob. This isn't just sports, it's a bloodbath where the wealthy bet on lives through an app. Anna sneaks backstage, her heart hammering against her ribs. She finds Bob, the man who thinks he's a king, and she doesn't hesitate. She lunges, slicing a blade across his face. It's a moment of pure, raw justice. But it's short-lived. A girl with a blade is no match for a predator like Bob. He beats her senseless, mocking her pain, and then in a move of pure malice, he takes her own dagger and carves a deep permanent scar across her face. He orders his men to dump her in the ocean for the sharks. Just as they're driving her away, a stone shatters the windshield. Out of the darkness, a figure appears. It's Mike. He's back from the dead and he looks like death himself. In the chaos, one of Bob's subordinates, who secretly hates his boss's guts, locks the car doors and peels away, leaving Bob alone in the dark with a very, very angry Mike. Bob tries to plead. He claims he doesn't have Anna. He tries to hide behind his fame. Mike doesn't care about his status. He only sees the man who hurt the girl he loves. He grabs Bob by the collar and carves the exact same wound into Bob's face that Bob gave to Anna. An eye for an eye, literally. Before Mike can finish him, the police arrive, led by Mike's only friend on the force, Charlie. Charlie begs Mike to run. If he kills a celebrity like Bob in front of the cops, he's done for. Bob is taken into protective custody at a hospital, laughing because he thinks the system will save him. He's wrong. That night, Mike slips into the hospital like a ghost. He doesn't just kill Bob, he stages it as a suicide. The world thinks a fallen star couldn't handle the pressure. Mike knows it was a debt paid in full, but the nightmare is far from over. Anna is still missing. Mike and Charlie team up and discover a truth much darker than a celebrity's ego. Bob was just a puppet. The real monster is his father, a tycoon named Jerry. Jerry has taken Anna, covered her scars with elaborate makeup, and forced her onto a national live stream. He's using her as bait to lure Mike and Charlie into a trap. But as Charlie investigates the building where the stream is being broadcast, he finds something that turns his stomach. It's a laboratory. Dozens of girls, their minds completely shattered, are being used as human guinea pigs for a new lethal drug. On the live stream, the tragedy reaches its peak. Anna, realizing she's being used to hurt the people she cares about, chooses the only escape she has left. She smashes the glass behind her and leaps. By the time Mike arrives, pushing through the crowd, it's too late. The girl who wanted to go somewhere beautiful is lying on the cold pavement. The despair that hits Mike isn't just sadness, it's an extinction-level event for his soul. But Anna was smart. Before she died, she sent a video to her friend Sophie, who happens to be Charlie's daughter. The video contains proof of Jerry's drug experiments. Sophie, fueled by the same fire that burned in Anna, decides to go undercover to finish the job. She enters the lion's den, knowing she might not come out. Inside, Jerry is demonstrating his new product to a room full of greedy investors. He injects the girls with a toxin that stops their breath, then revives them with an antidote. It's a sick magic trick to sell a deadly drug, but the trick fails. One of the girls coughs up black blood and dies right in front of the buyers. Jerry doesn't care. He just forces them to sign contracts at gunpoint. That's when Mike and Charlie crash the party. It's a symphony of violence. Mike takes on an army of bodyguards alone, a man with nothing left to lose and everything to burn. Charlie finds Sophie, but Jerry has already injected her with the drug. In a moment of pure horror, Charlie has to watch his daughter struggle for life while he tears through Jerry's men. He gets the antidote to her just in time, but the fury in him is now uncontrollable. He corners Jerry outside, dragging him from his car and raining down blows that have been years in the making. Charlie pulls his gun. He's a cop, but in this moment, he's just a father. Sophie, despite what she's been through, tells him it's not worth his soul. Charlie hesitates, but Mike doesn't hesitate. He reaches out, takes the gun from Charlie's hand, and puts a bullet through Jerry's head without saying a single word. Some people don't deserve a trial. They just deserve to stop breathing. In the end, the sun rises on a quieter Gangnam. Sophie and Charlie stand at Anna's grave, bringing her the news that the monsters are gone. But the victory feels hollow. The girl with the never give up attitude is gone. And Mike can't stay in a city that smells like her memory. He leaves, heading toward a new place, perhaps searching for that beautiful destination Anna always talked about. Justice was served, but at what cost? If you were Mike, would you have walked away and let the law handle a man like Jerry? Or would you have pulled the trigger yourself? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your take on this one. Thanks for watching.